Mounce, BBG, chapter 31, sentence 9. This is the killer. All right, in order not to drive you crazy, I'm going to do this as quickly as I can and really just focus on the verbs and participles just to save us some time here. So let's go ahead and start rolling through it. Y'all's fathers, right, or the fathers of y'all. And then you have Ephagon. You might not recognize this one very easily. You might have to take out your Mounce laminated sheets and kind of scroll through there. But if you get to estheo, then you'll see that estheo goes to phagomai, which goes to ephagon. So ephagon is what you see here. The only distinction here is that this is a third plural in order to line up with the fathers. So here it's going to be they ate, because estheo is I eat. So they ate. So y'all's fathers or your fathers ate. What did they eat? They ate manna in the desert, and then if you know apithnesko, you know that apithanon again is going to be in this case a third plural to line up with fathers. But here from apithnesko, so it's they died. So your fathers ate the manna in the desert and died. So this is the bread, but then look at this interesting construction here. You have not only it's bread, but what kind of bread is it that we're talking about? You have a construction that's functioning as an adjective here to line up with bread, but it consists of a prepositional phrase which includes a participle. So it's the what kind of bread? It's the bread, the coming down out of heaven bread. It's kind of the way we're talking about this. So just again, recognize that with this definite article, that this whole piece here is essentially functioning adjectively to talk about the bread. So it's the bread which is coming down from heaven, right? So here you've got a present participle. Hopefully you recognize katabino, and you also recognize omega nu as masculine nominative singular ending there for this present participle. All right, but again, translating it as something like the bread which is coming down from heaven. Something like that will work. In order that anyone from it may eat, right? And in this case, may eat, because you recognize he said ephagon, they ate and they died up above, but in here he's got the bread that's coming down from heaven in order that someone or anyone from it might eat and not die. So again, but you've got two subjunctives here, right? Because they're part of this hina clause. So you would expect that to be followed by subjunctives here, and both third singular and both aorist, right? So aorist third singular subjunctives might eat and might not die. Okay, so I am the bread, the living. See, here's a typical construction where it's article, noun, article, and even though this is a participle, it's functioning as like an adjective. So it's what kind of bread? Is the living bread. So unlike this one up above, which is this huge long description, here you just have the living bread. But then guess what? Then you got the same basic construction, which out of heaven, and then the difference here is instead of katabinon, you have katabas, still from katabino, but here as an aorist, still nominative singular masculine, but the aorist form of that participle. So the bread which I'm the living bread which came down from heaven. Okay, so then we move on. If anyone may eat of this bread, right? See, of this, the bread, so of this bread. And then zese, third singular, and you got this sigma that tells you that it's future, so it's he will live. And how long will he live? Estanaiona, forever. And the bread which I will give, And then he sarxmu estin is my flesh, or the flesh of me. So it is the bread which I will give is my flesh. And then here's an interesting piece on behalf of, and then look here, two definite articles, and then genitive masculine, genitive feminine. So it's like, feminine, feminine, masculine, masculine. So here we got on behalf of the life of the world. And you're going to see this in other places in the New Testament. So you just have to be real careful to make sure you follow the order based on the way that certain things are embedded. And this is embedded within this outer piece, definite article and noun. So on behalf of the life of the world. All right, then we keep on going. Therefore, here's your subject. The Jews were quarreling, and they give you that verb, prosalelus, with each other, saying, and then here you just have from lego, so it's a present active participle, right? There's your morpheme, and your epsilon sigma tells you this masculine plural nominative, right? And of course, that's what you would expect if it's talking about the Jews. So the hoi, right? So the Jews, therefore, were quarreling with each other, saying, how is this one able to give to us his flesh? And then he gives you the infinitive to eat. And hopefully you recognize that phi alpha gamma, as being in common with some of the things I've been talking about so far. So how is this one able to give his flesh to us to eat, if I were to switch it around? Therefore, Jesus said to them, and that I think we don't need to spend any time with. Just, obviously you're going to recognize that as a third singular. And if I were to ask you the lexical form, you'd want to give me lego, right? Lego goes to arrow, which goes to apon. One of those freaky verbs, except that this is an epsilon, tells you a third singular. So truly, truly, I say to you, you know that phrase very, very well. But if y'all do not eat, see, it's negated, but with the may, you're going to expect a subjunctive, which is what you have here. But it's an aorist subjunctive because of the different stem, right? And second plural you recognize with the tau epsilon at the end, right? But then you got this eta, which is the elongated connecting vowel, so you know it's subjunctive. So if y'all do not eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink, and then pieta from pino, but again, elongated connecting vowel, second plural ending there, but again from pino, so you got another aorist subjunctive, right? Second plural, and drink, and then look of him the blood, so or drink his blood, and then common, second plural from echo, which is I have, so it's y'all do not have, because here's the negation, y'all do not have life in yourselves. So one more time, very quickly, your father or y'all's fathers ate the manna in the desert and died. This is the bread which is coming down from heaven, in order that anyone might eat from it and not die. I am the living bread which came down from heaven. If anyone eats from this bread, he will live forever. And the bread which I will give is my flesh on behalf of the life of the world. Therefore, the Jews were quarreling with each other, saying, how is this one able to give to us his flesh to eat? ? Therefore Jesus said to them, truly, truly, I say to you, if anyone does not eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, y'all do not, if y'all do not eat, there you go. Truly, truly, I say to y'all, if y'all do not eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, y'all do not have life in yourselves. Sorry, I just making the mistake here about the second plurals. But hopefully that makes sense to everybody.